Hi, welcome into another edition of Music Fanimal here on Fanimal Radio. My special guest this week is Scott Spivey. Scott, welcome into Music Fanimal. How are you, buddy?
I am good. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure
Appreciate
having you. So we've seen each other out and about several times. So talk about how you got into the music business originally.
All right, so I got into music. I've kind of always been in it, ever since I was a kid. My dad was in the music industry, and I just sort of followed his footsteps.
What did Dad do?
Dad still plays guitar and sings.
Oh,
He
nice.
plays all the same places that I play.
Really?
Yeah.
You ever play together?
We have, yeah. It's a lot of fun. We've done, the Sunset Cove and the Tower and all those cool places together.
Yeah.
But we have fun together, yeah. And so I got into it that way, and then I went some, different avenues because I was younger and I was more into, and he was more into other things too.
Right.
But then,
Has his musical taste influenced yours?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like when I was growing up, a kid, I didn't think there was any other band alive in the '60s but the Beatles, because that's all he ever listened to was Beatles,
Right.
Beatles, and all my guitar.
I like your dad already.
Yeah, I think you guys would get along. So like all my guitar, like he taught me how to play guitar. So all of that came from, day one I was like, here, we're gonna learn this Beatles song, we're gonna learn Love Me Do, and then we're gonna learn this, and this, and I learned most of my guitar playing from learning Beatles songs all
Nice.
my life. Yeah. So
And
that
you
was
built on that.
Yeah, well,
I've
that's
seen you
that's
play.
about when we parted ways. Shortly after that, I was like, "There's got to be more than the Beatles,"
Right.
know. But yeah,
So the first time you take the stage, how old were you?
5
Oh, really?
or 6. Yeah, I was in.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was terrifying. So I was in probably first or second grade, so maybe 7 or 8, and I wrote a song, and it was a school talent show, and it was a big private school. So at that time you had kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade, and they were even teaching like some advanced classes too. So there was thousands of people in this room, and I wasn't prepared for it, emotionally. So I got up and I started playing, and my dad tells the story really well. That
It's the song you wrote.
it's a song I wrote, and I sat down and I, just got on the stool with my little guitar and I had my microphone, and I just froze. And all I remember is seeing this like sea of faces, and hearing myself breathing into the microphone like this. Like deep breaths and just terrified.
Yeah, but as a 5-year-old kid, you get a little slack, right?
People were
But you don't
giggling.
know that.
Right, and people were laughing, and it didn't make it any easier. And thankfully, Dad was there, and he came up, and he's like, we actually practiced this as a duet. It was my fault. And he
Nice,
sat
Dad.
down, put his arms around, and we kind of played together and did the song. And I didn't win anything, but that was my first live experience, and I still remember it. It was terrifying.
So that was at school. Now, how about as a professional when you're out making money and doing what you do now? The first time you stood up at the mic at some bar and playing the music that you play?
Gosh, I can't remember. Because, from that day on, even though I was terrified of the crowd, I knew, like, this is what I got to do.
Right.
I got to figure out the stage fright thing, and I got to get past it, and I got to play. And I did. I played every school talent show from 5 years old till whenever, till 12th grade. And then as soon as I got out of that, I was playing with every local band that I could, in church bands, in just anywhere that would let me bring my guitar and my amp and let me make noise. So I can't remember like an actual first bar or venue experience where I was there, and because it's always been what I did
Right.
every day. It's been a part of me for so long.
What would you say? I know you mentioned the Beatles and your dad's influence there, but what were some of your biggest musical influences?
All right, so yeah, Beatles notwithstanding, so I talked about that parting ways. I got really big into, music in the '80s. For me was awesome when everybody had like spandex and big hairs, and everyone just wanted to play guitar solos. I was like, that's me. I want to
Did
do
you
that.
have big hair?
Yeah, to the extent of which my parents would allow me to grow it. Yeah, I had big hair, and I had a mullet. I think with like the Vanilla Ice lines shaved in on the side.
Yeah.
I wasn't that cool of a kid, and the obvious people like Eddie Van Halen. I got really big into the prog rock guys like Dream Theater, John Petrucci, just anybody who was playing some crazy awesome solo that just made me want to watch over and over again. That's what I really got into. My big influences from the '80s to '90s were rock, metal, shreddy. All those dudes. Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Eric Johnson, just
Right.
those solo guitar players.
Well, I think it was down at the Crazy Tuna you were playing with Rob's band, I believe. and you went into Magic Power.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool because I hadn't heard that song in a while. I used to love that
I
song.
love that song. Yeah, that was a fun song. That was a song that we just, when we got together for the first time for practice, and practice just felt so right, and I just threw it out there. I was like, what do you guys think about Magic Power by Triumph? And they were like, gosh, I haven't heard that song in a long time. And we did it, we rehearsed it, and it went really well. And we do it at a few shows. We don't do it all the time, but it's kind of an obscure Canadian rock band song.
It is, and it's a tough song to sing, too.
It is, it's up there. I'm not pulling that one off today, I can tell you that.
So, Guitar Hero, did you ever play it?
The game?
The game, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I was terrible. I was really bad.
Wait, you were terrible.
I was terrible. Well,
were you playing against people that didn't know how to play guitars and they were beating you?
Well, it's not like playing guitar. You know, it's buttons.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
does that mess you up?
Yeah, because it doesn't. The buttons don't really change the chord patterns or whatever. They just change randomly. You got to follow the code. And, the color code on the screen. And I was terrible at it. I was never really coordinated in the first place. Then there was another game. I don't know. Did you hear Rocksmith?
Yeah.
So that one came afterwards, and you could actually plug in your guitar. And I was equally as terrible as that. And I can remember when it was in Guitar Center, a friend of mine worked there, and he called me. He was like, you got to come up here and play this game. I got to see if you can play it. I'm like, why? He's like, because none of us in the store can play this game. We're terrible at it, right? And so we're all there, I'm considered decent enough guitar players, and we plug in, and it was, what was it? It was like it was Mississippi Queen, right? And I'm like, oh, I know Mississippi Queen. I played that a million times. And no, I apparently did not know Mississippi Queen because I failed. It was so bad. Like, the crowd started booing, and I was like taken back to when I was 5 years old in front of the crowd again. I'm like, this is terrible. Who want to play this game?
Right back there on that stage. So what was the song that you wrote back when you were 5 years old?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I have a vague memory of it being to the tune of "And I Love Her."
Okay.
I had some lyrics that I put to that, and it kind of followed that, but I could be wrong. I don't really remember what it was.
So back to Guitar Hero. Who are some of your guitar heroes?
Oh gosh, I named a few of them already. Obviously the guys who are like a guitar teacher's teacher, like Steve Vai, John Petrucci, Eric Johnson, Satriani. More recently, the younger guys like Andy James. These are all obscure people, but I guess I do like really anybody outside of shred guitar, because I know I'm focusing on that a lot. Anybody who can just kind of take me somewhere on a journey. I like the way Zach Brown plays. I like the way he just plays something simple and sings a nice simple song. Brad Paisley, Keith Urban. I like the guy. There's just anybody who can get up there with their guitar, seem confident enough, and play something nice. Nice. Because that's where I've had to get out of Shredsville, doing acoustic stuff.
Right.
I do it sometimes, but I had to be able to do something else besides just get up there and solo all night long, because I would love it, but I don't think anybody else would. So I had to find these songs for my acoustic that would work, and those guys kind of helped pave the way for me to find a little niche.
Right. So you're gonna do your first song for us. So I guess we're not going to Shredsville.
Probably not. No, I don't know. Maybe we can. I brought some stuff with me today that I could arrange a couple of Shred songs. But I think this first song is going to be just an acoustic sing-along type song.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take away Scott Spivey.
My stupid mouth has been running wild. I've been drinking whiskey since 9:15. Must have looked like a fool when you walked on by, and I said, hey there lady, it's your lucky night. And she said, I've been drinking since noon, but I'm not quite drunk enough for you. I should've walked you home, should've gave you a kiss. All my nights seem to end like this. Should've messed up your lipstick, not the makeup around your eyes. I realized when you left that I'm not doing it right. You were sitting there watching me play guitar. I had a bottle of Jack Daniels, a cold beer at the bar. Your girlfriends were trying to guess my age. I said, hey there, ladies, listen, we can all go back to my place. And you said, boy, you know that you looked real cute. But you started talking, now I'm over you. I should've walked you home, should've gave you a kiss. All my nights seem to end like this. Should've messed up your lipstick, not the makeup around your eyes. I realized when you left that I'm not doing it right. Girl, you know that you saved me that day. You changed me in ways I thought I'd never change. So won't you give me a shot? I swear I clean up real good. Oh, I think that you won't, but I know that I should. I should walk you home, I should give you that kiss. I don't want a night to end like this. Wanna mess up your lipstick, not the makeup around your eyes. I realized when you left that I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it right. No, I'm not doing it right, no. I'm not doing it right. No.
A Scott Spivey original, I'm not doing it right. So what aren't you doing right?
All right, so the challenges of music today. The biggest challenge for me was I'm a guitar player. You know, that's what I do. I've always just wanted to be a guitar player. And through the 80s, that was fine because they were right up there with the singer. You know what I mean? It was the lead vocalist, then here comes the guitar solo, you know, and C.C. DeVille will come sliding down on his knees and do something. So I spent all the 80s learning how to do all that. And then I came out, I'm like, guess what I can do? I was like, well, guess what? It's the 90s. Nobody cares anymore, you know? It was all Kurt Cobain and that thing. So my biggest hurdle for most of my life has been trying to adapt to a climate of music that when I first started getting into it wasn't the climate that I was expecting to jump into. Okay. You know, I wasn't the best singer. I had to learn how to sing. I had to learn how to just lay back and play some simple songs on guitar, you know, and not just, you know, all the guitar stuff that I keep saying that I love so much. That was a challenge. Another challenge for me was to be able to figure out how to be a front person. You know, I'm not in school I was voted class clown, but I was just more of a goofy guy, which is okay for the guitar player. But when you're the singer, you at least have to have some sort of personality. So I had to develop a personality and learn how to relate to the crowd and work them. And so those were my challenges as far as performing goes. The business side of it had a whole other set of challenges that I had to learn and adapt to too, but it's slowly coming together, I think.
What about the industry as a whole? Because, you know, when I was growing up, it was album-oriented rock, and you drop the needle on the vinyl and you let it play through because you didn't have any remotes or anything to advance it. So it forced you to listen to things. Today it's digital downloads and it's nothing like, I mean, I oftentimes wonder why artists even bother to go into a studio and make an album. Because, you know, do people even listen to them all the way through anymore? So talk about some of the challenges in the industry as a whole.
Gosh, I don't know. I know I listen to albums. I still do. I like to listen to an entire album. I feel like it's the artist's complete thought. Right. You know, where they have this. You go in your studio or to a cabin that you've rented or your room, and you write something, and it usually turns into 3, 4, 5 songs. You know, you have something inside you that you want to get out, and it's going to take you more than 3 minutes. You know, like a normal 3-minute song. So I still listen to albums. I do like, though, the idea of not having to wait until I have 10 completed songs to release a song. I can release a song as a single, which we always could, but a single was always it was like the commercial for the album, right? You know, it was like, oh, here's so-and-so's new single, right. Watch out for the new album. But now it doesn't seem like the full-length movie comes as often, right? It just seems like, oh, here's so-and-so's new single. And I guess it's a good thing. You know, it's allowed a lot of other people to collaborate with each other. It's allowed artists to continue to work without the, you know, the large overhead of having to do a whole album. So I guess it can be a good thing. If things change, you know, they should change for the better. So I'd imagine that it is changing for the better.
Yeah, what did you think of, we're fresh on the heels of Super Bowl 53. What did you think of the performance by Maroon 5 last night?
That's me.
No worries.
It's always on silent too. I don't know why it isn't today. Of course, the most important time for my phone to be on silent, I decided to just, good thing it wasn't a weird ringtone.
Well, it's life, it's real.
So Maroon 5's performance, it's weird. If anybody that is a friend of mine watches this, they're probably going to make fun of me afterwards. I must be in the unpopular side of it because I didn't think it was as terrible as my Facebook feed thought it was. Everybody thought it was really bad, and some people accused them of lip syncing. I don't think he was lip syncing. He didn't sing. He was out of breath. You know, his normal singer stuff, pitchy. You know, that sounded normal. Their first album, the Songs for Jane album, was a decent modern rock album. It had a lot of guitar, had guitar solos. I liked it, and they did a lot of songs from that album too. And they did a few other ones that I kind of stopped listening to them more recently when they've crossed over, and instead of a guitar solo, everything has to have a rap in it now. You know, that's not really my style. So they did a few of those songs, and I didn't really know them too well, but I mean, all in all, I'm not playing at the Super Bowl. You know, good for them. You know, they're doing great things. It seems like it's been almost a 30-year career, and they're doing good. You know, I can't. Well, I'm not going to sit here in my armchair and be like, that was get off my lawn. It wasn't. You know, that wasn't McCartney or that wasn't U2. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It was them, and they did fine.
I don't know if you saw, it's been floating around on social media today with Adam Levine. He took off his shirt and it said California across his abdomen, and there was this guy taking a selfie of himself drinking a can of beer, big fat guy, and he wrote Illinois on his belly.
That was perfect. I love that.
That was funny. So let's talk about some of the local bands that you're familiar with, some of your favorites.
Okay, there's so many great local bands around here that I've loved. I've played in a lot of them. I've played in Starcrush, which they're all great friends of mine still, and they're still playing. They're a great band. I played in Tripwire, and still great band. In fact, one of my former guitar students, Mike, is their new guitar player now. So he's doing great things. He's a fantastic guitar player. The New Romance is another one, another great band. I actually taught their new guitar player Eric too, and gosh, where's the list go? Kanye Twitty, I love Denny. You know, Denny is a fantastic guitar player. Denny and Steve, you know, they're both just great the way they get up there and trade solos. You know, they're just.
We had Denny in, and he was talking about how he's a metalhead.
Yeah.
And it kind of surprised me.
Yeah, because we play together too in another project, and he's a deeper metalhead than I am. You know, he'll pull out deep cut Queensryche, you know, from during sound check, and him and Rob will start singing it, and they're looking at me like, "Don't you know this?" And I'm like, "I don't know this," and I'm embarrassed, you know. But yeah, they're both just the music scene right now, especially I would say the cover band scene, because it's what I'm most familiar with. There's a lot of great original acts out there too, which I get to see as often as I'd like. But the cover band scene seems to have done a shift for positive things within the past 10 years. When I came in about 15 years ago in the cover band scene, it seemed really competitive. You know, like it was always what band could be better here and be better there. Like, were we better at, you know, such and such place on Thursday night than so and so? And you know, it's not sports. You know, it's music. There should be a little bit of we should be the best that we can be. But somewhere within the last 5 years, there seems to be a new type of camaraderie where everybody's come together and said, let's realize what we're doing. We're helping each other. You know, I'm playing here Friday night. Let's promote your band on Saturday night too. And realizing that, you know, we're doing this. We're having fun on the weekends. You know, a lot of guys aren't, you know, I'm a full-time guy. I have other music stuff going on, but there's so many other guys who are doing this on the weekend, and then they return to a full-time job where their focuses lie, you know? And why should I try to compete with that. You know what I mean? There's different mindsets. You know what I mean? My mindset is I'm full time. I got to go out there. I've had 2 hours to prepare for this show today. You know what I mean? Because I wrapped up my students early. Your boy's coming off of a 10-hour workday with his guitar in the trunk, changing his tie, and he gets up on stage. You know what I mean? I don't think it's fair to compete that. So I would say that the scene has really improved as far as the morale's gone, and I like that. I like that everybody seems to be friends.
It does seem to be a brotherhood when I see you guys, maybe somebody drops in on somebody else's set.
Get
that
up
sort
on
of thing.
stage
Yeah.
and plays. Yeah, I like that. I think it's really cool, and it's what it should be. It's what music should be. It's what makes towns cool. It's what makes, you know, going out to see your friends play
Right.
in a band cool, because we're all friends. We should stay friends, you know, on stage, and even if we're in different bands. So I like it. I think it's a good thing.
So what's the second one you have for us today?
It's a good question. I didn't have an order. I'll do another original for you.
Okay.
I'll do one more original.
Okay.
And this is, you know what I'll do? I'm going to do another one, because I talked a minute ago about how albums sort of feed, you know, one song feeds another one. So the one I did earlier, this next song that I'm going to do is actually, I rewrote it to be something different. And instead of being something silly, it ended up being something a little bit more sincere, but it shares a lot of the same attributes.
Scott Spivey with another original.
I'm flying down this dirt road. Where am I gonna land? Well, I don't know. I've got one foot on the gas and the other one back with you. My headlights up with my mistakes, but your eyes were empty, so we hit the brakes. And baby, you and I both know this is long overdue. Our exit's coming up and I'm switching lanes, thinking about the other things I should have changed. Should have held your hand, should have stole your heart, should have tried harder from the start. And maybe if I did, baby, you'd still be here. I should have pulled you close when you said let go, should have said yes when you said no. Baby, tonight everything seems much clearer when I see it through my rearview mirror. Your favorite song on the radio, I used to switch it up, but now I let it go. We got one hand out the window and the other lets go of me. I'm wearing out these memories. I try to shake them off like the dust on my jeans, but everything behind me feels a lot closer than it seems. Oh, but I'm not looking back, 'cause I don't wanna see you standing with the man you needed me to be. Should've held your hand, should've stole your heart, should've tried harder from the start. And maybe if I did, baby, you'd still be here. I should've pulled you close when you said let go, should've said yes when you said no. Baby, tonight everything seems much clearer when I see it through my rearview mirror. I'm riding down this highway, I've got both hands on the wheel, I'm white knuckling my way to any place where I can feel. But everywhere I turn, every road I take, it all just reminds me of your face. But it's only a memory, riding right here next to me. I should've stole your hand, should've stole your heart, should've tried harder from the start. And maybe if I did, baby, you'd still be here. I should've pulled you close when you said let go, should've said yes when you said no. Baby, tonight everything seems much clearer when I see it through my rearview mirror. Ooh, see it through my rearview mirror.
Welcome back to Music Fanimal. I'm here with Scott Spivey, my special guest today. Now, you are a guitar teacher as well. You mentioned a couple of guys that are playing around in local bands now. Talk about that experience as a teacher.
Yeah, that's my full-time job.
Yeah.
So I'll start usually around 10 a.m. and not get finished till 10 p.m.
Really?
And I have a home studio.
Filled in all through the day?
Pretty much. I have a little half-hour break to go pick up the kids from school, shove something in my stomach real quick and get back at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really, really fun time. You know, I started off doing that as early as I could remember. I was the kid, you know, the residential kid guitar player. Everybody would come over to my house on Saturday morning to learn how to play the songs that Dad might have taught me or that I might have picked up. I mean, elementary school, I can remember teaching somebody the intro to Johnny Be Good, you know, a neighbor across the street, Johnny Be Good. And it's always been then, and I loved it. I really like, I just like sharing what I know with other people, and so it didn't become a career. I didn't turn it into a job. It never dawned on me I could turn it into a job until about 99 or 2000, where I was working several other jobs to supplement my music career, you know.
Like a lot of your peers today,
yeah.
right?
And I hated it, you know. I was thankful to have a job, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I remember I was at I was on call as a repairman for this company, and I was on 24-hour call, and I just finished up a long day, and I was excited to go over to my friend's house, who was a musician and owned his own studio, to sit down and play some music. And I got there, changed out of my work clothes, and as soon as I did, my pager went off, and I had to go back out. And I was just like, oh, this is terrible. And it was his wife who said, why are you doing this to yourself? Why don't you just teach guitar for a living? And I said, well, I don't know how to do that. And she said, get a couple students. How hard would it be? And she was right. And the next day I put in my 2 weeks, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started spreading the word. I had, you know, this is before any type of social media, or, you know, I had an Apple IIe in my house, and I don't even think I had America Online yet, you know. And I would make flyers, and I hung them up at the local supermarkets and the guitar stores, and, you know, and Gordon Miller Music, and just ripped off my name to give me a call. And it was slow going, but now I see around 40 to 50 students, and all ages. My youngest student is, I think, 6. My oldest one is 75.
Nice.
So it's all ages, and it's been fun.
I was going to ask you that, because for wannabes like myself who always wanted to be able to play guitar, and it's like, how do you get over that hump? How do you find the time? How much time do you have to commit? So what advice would you give to the wannabes like me?
Yeah, you don't need much. You know, you get a guitar and start having fun. Play songs you like. Do like I did. Learn Love Me Do. It's 3 chords, you know. Have fun with that. And then when you're ready for a 4th chord, learn a song with a 4th chord in it, you know. And learn how to tune your guitar. Sit down and have fun. You know, nobody is I always tell my students, nobody's banging down the door for Tony Lombardi's first solo album right now. You know what I mean? You have plenty of time to get in there and learn and practice. And when you feel confident, do an open mic night. You know, record yourself, put it on Facebook. People are so welcoming and so encouraging. You could get up there and feel like you did not your best, and you know, you have a great group of friends who would support you, and I think you'd be surprised at what you could put out there and what people would like.
Now, you have some young children, right?
I do.
How old are they?
Oh, they're all over the place. 19, 17, 12, and about 8.
Okay, so you teach music during the day, you play a lot on weekends. Talk about some of the challenges in the family, that, you know, some sacrifices that have to be made for that to all that happen.
Yeah, I guess there are challenges like there is with every other, you know, any other career. You know, the biggest challenge is learning how to manage your time well, so you don't accidentally book a gig during a soccer game, you know, or something like that. And you know, that's been I've learned. You know, at first I didn't. You know, I can remember I accidentally booked a show on my son's first birthday. And I had to leave early because I thought the party was on Friday, but it was on Saturday.
Oh, no.
And I had to leave early to go do a show, you know, and I couldn't cancel. It was a full band thing, and, you know, I learned a lesson there. But that's been the biggest hurdle. And fortunately, you know, I have, you know, my wife knew me as a musician before we got married. So she already knew, you know, the perils of what she was getting herself into, you
Marrying
know.
a music
yeah,
man,
yeah.
right?
So, but, you know, it's It's gotten a lot. It's gotten a lot better. You get older, you learn. Everybody does, and I've been able to balance it really well. And my family's supportive. My kids are supportive.
Do any of the kids play?
No, my youngest, my 8-year-old, it seems like he's taking an interest. I don't want to force it on him, because I don't want him to get to back out. But he seems pretty musical, and he seems artistic. He likes to draw and everything. But yeah, they all have their set of skills, and some of the older ones like to draw too and art skills. But my oldest son is really big into sports and soccer, and he's a tremendous soccer player. He didn't get it from me. I'll trip on tile. I can't even run down the street. Yeah. So I just do my best to be present at every game and every event, and that's about it. Just learn how to manage your time. Be a grown-up, keep a calendar.
And speaking of calendars, where can people see you play around town, and any events coming up anytime soon?
I'm a local Baltimore County guy. It's been my circuit lately. I really enjoy it. I have, with all that said, I'm actually going to be at Sonoma's with Ready, Set, Go, which is the band with Robin Denny we talked about.
I saw you guys down at the Purple Moose maybe 2 winters ago. It was phenomenal.
That was a lot of fun.
It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird because in the Purple Moose of all places, I didn't think I'd ever see guys dancing with guys.
It was a weird place.
It was kind of strange.
Anything goes there, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a good gig. I got a couple shows coming up this month. I know I'm at the Steelfish Grill up in Bel Air,
Okay.
and then I'm down on the Eastern Shore for a few other ones. But I'm the world's worst musician, and I don't have my own website for performance. I have one for guitar lessons, but my Facebook page, I only ever post where I'm going to be. So you could just shoot me a friend request on Facebook, or just follow the page,
Right.
and I only post my shows.
Okay. All right, so you have one more for us.
I do.
Okay. So Scott Spivey, one more time, and thanks for joining us today, Scott.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure having
It was a
you.
lot of fun. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care about music, do you? And it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, and her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. And she tied you to her kitchen chair, broke your throne and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, you say I took the name in vain, but I don't even know the name, and even if if I did, then tell me what's it to you. But it's not a cry that you hear at night, not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold, it's a broken hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. 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 Ooh, yeah. Well, I did my best, it wasn't much, and I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch, and I came to tell the truth and didn't come before you. And even though this all went wrong, I stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. 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 Ooh, yeah. Ain't hard